Hello. As you can see today, I'm going to be talking about the game 12 Thieves. This was originally called the Thief of Baghdad, which was what it was called when I first played it at BGG Con 2013. Kind of liked it. It was a quick, easy game. Some strategy to it, but um, just fun, quick game. Or kind of quick, anyway. Anyway, so I think I bought it in 2018 when it was reprinted as 12 Thieves. And so anyway, thought I'd talk about it, show how to play today. So let's get started with setup. Alright, so the first thing you do is take the 6 palaces and just place them kind of in a circle in the middle of the table. So let me finish that and I'll come back. Alright, so you can see I've got the 6 palace tiles set up in the middle of the table. Next you take these treasure chests. Each palace has a set of treasure chests in its color. One of them with 7 pips, one with 6, one with 5, and one with 4. So you'll stack them in that order with 7 on the bottom, the 4 pip one on top, and then you put it in the terrace of the palace of the matching color. And you do that with all 6 palaces. So let me get that done and I'll come back. Alright, you can see I've got the treasure chests for each color matching the palace. Put in the terrace for each palace. Next you'll take your neutral guards and you'll place one neutral guard on one guard square of each palace. These 4 spaces are guard squares, so you'll put one neutral guard on one guard square of each palace. Alright, got that done. Next you take your deck of palace cards and place them in a stack in the middle of the palaces. I mean, you could put it around it, but the instructions say in the middle, so that's what I've done here. Next you take your dancer cards, there's 8 of those, and put them face up in the middle. I think I'm going to turn my stack like that. Alright, so that's what the setup looks like so far. Each player will choose a color and put their player board of that color in front of them. And actually the choice of colors, it says that the oldest player is going to be the first player, so starting with them they choose their color player board and then proceed in clockwise order. And each player will take their 12 thieves, which are these tokens, and put them in this space of their player board. Then depending on the number of players, I'm playing a 3-player game, so in a 3-player game each player will take a number of 3 guards into their player area. If you're playing with 2 players you would get 4 guards, and if you're playing with 4 players you would only get 2 guards. Then the starting player receives 6 palace cards, so he just draws them into his hand. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then the next player would get 7 palace cards, and then the next player would get 8, and if you were playing with a 4th player they would get 9. So let me go ahead and deal those out. Alright, I've got the other hands of cards dealt out to the other players. Then next, the players will take turns placing one of their color guards on a free guard square on a palace of their choice. Now you probably want to look at your cards before you do that to see where you might want to be trying to place thieves later. So since blue player has more yellow and purple, he might want to start by putting one of his guards there. So Just say, he places one there, then just right now randomly, we'll say yellow places one there, and green places one there, then come back, blue places one there, yellow places one there, green places one there, blue places his last one here, yellow places his last one here, and green places his last one here. Anyway, each players take turn until they place all their guards out. And of course, you have to have a free guard space. If all four are taken, then of course you can't place a guard there. And that's it. That's set up. All the players are ready to go. So let's talk about how you play. It's pretty easy. Alright, so how do you play? Well, the object of the game is to smuggle your thieves into these palaces and steal the treasure chests. Now, the number of thieves required to steal the first chest on top of each palace is 4. It shows by the number of pips. And like once that chest has been chosen, then it'll take 5 thieves to steal the next treasure from this palace, and 6 to steal the next one, and 7 to steal the last. So you want to be earlier to get the treasures out of the palaces because that costs you less thieves. And you can look at your player board to see here in a 3-player game, the first player to steal 5 treasures wins the game. In a 2-player game, the first player to steal 6 treasures. And in a 4-player game, the first player to steal 4 treasures immediately wins the game. So how do you get the treasures and how do you play the game? Well, there's only 4 different actions you can take, and you take them with your cards. So one action you can take is smuggling a thief from your supply into a palace. And to do that, you have to have at least one of your guards at that palace, and there has to be at least one external guard or other player's guard. So it can be a neutral guard or one of the other player's guards. But you can only smuggle thieves into a palace where you have a guard and where there is at least one other player or neutral player's guard. And the way you do that is by playing your palace cards, and you play a palace card of the color of the palace you want to put a thief into, and you have to have one card for each guard other than your own that's there. So for example, blue has his guard here. If he wants to smuggle a thief into the yellow palace, since there's 2 other guards there, he needs to play at least 2 yellows to put one thief in there. So he can look at his hand of cards. He's got 2 yellows. So he puts those in a discard pile. Let's just make our discard pile right here. And then he can take a thief from his supply and put it in the courtyard of that palace. So now he's got 1 thief in there. If he gets 3 more, then he could take that treasure. Alright, so that's one action you can take. Another action you can take is to move one of your guards. And to do that, you can play either the color of the palace where you're moving the guard from. So say blue wanted to move this blue guard from this orange palace to this green palace. He could either play an orange card and then move his guard, or he could play a green card and then move his card. So you can either play one card from where you're moving the guard from, or one card of the color of the palace you're moving the guard to. Either one of those will work, and you can move your guard. So if blue wanted to move his guard from this orange palace to this green palace, he could play a green or an orange card, either one, and then he can move his guard to that palace. Pretty simple. Alright, another action you can do is move your guard and take a thief with you when you move the guard. So to do that, it's the same rule as moving a guard, only if you have a thief in the palace courtyard of where you're moving the guard from, you can bring that thief with you. And there's no rule about having to have at least one opponent's guard or anything like that in the palace you're moving to. So in this example, remember we had the blue thief in here. If blue wanted to move to a different palace and take that thief with him, say he wanted to move to the green palace, he could play a green card, or he could play a yellow card, because when you're moving your guard, you can play the color you're moving from or moving to. So we'll just say he's going to play the green card. He gets to move his guard and the thief, take the thief with him, put the thief in the palace, and move his guard. That's it. And finally, the last possible action you can take is to move a neutral guard. And to do that, it takes two cards. You have to play the color of card where you're moving the neutral guard from, and the color of the card where you're moving the neutral guard to. So, for instance, if you wanted to move this neutral guard from green to purple, you'd have to play a green, because that's where you're moving it from, and a purple, because that's where you're moving him to, and then you could move this neutral guard from the green to the purple. And that's all that actions you can take. It's pretty simple. Now, you can take as many actions as you have cards for, but only 3 of them can involve thieves. So if you smuggle a thief or move a thief, however you're going to do on your turn, only 3 of your actions can involve placing or moving thieves. But other than that, you can take as many other actions as you have cards for. At the end of your turn, when you've played all the cards that you want to play, done all you can do, then you draw 3 cards from the palace deck into your hand, and then it's the next player's turn. Now, you can, if you decide on your turn to take no actions and just draw cards, you can draw 4 cards, and one of them can be a dancer card, and the dancer cards are wild. They count as any palace color, so it's basically a wild. So, and the only way you can get one of those again is, as I said, if you take no other actions on your turn. Instead of drawing 3 cards at the end of your turn, you can draw 4 cards, and one of those 4 can be a dancer. So that's really all the rules. You just keep playing, taking turns, playing cards until you've managed to steal the number of required chests. Again, in a 3-player game, that's 5. And it's just a bit of strategy about using your cards to get your thieves into the palaces where you want to steal the treasure, and also moving guards around to block opponents from getting treasures. It sounds pretty easy, but there's a pretty good bit of strategy, I think, involved in it. It's pretty fun. So let's go through a few example turns. And so normally you'll keep your hand of cards hidden from the other players. Again, since I'm playing solo, it doesn't matter. But I'm going to keep the same setup I did when I did the demonstration of setup. So we'll just probably start with how I showed earlier. Blue, he's got a guard at yellow, and there's other guards there besides him, so he can place card there. Since there's 2 other guards, he's got to play 2 to place 1 in the yellow, so he's going to place 2 yellow, put 1 thief in there. He still has some purple, green, and blue. He doesn't have a guard at the purple, so he can't place anything there. He's got a guard at orange, and he's got a guard at white, so he really can't place any more thieves. He could move a guard, and maybe he want to moves one to purple since he's got some purple cards. But I think right now that's all he's going to do, so he's going to draw 3 cards. He's going to end his turn, draw 3 cards into his hand, and now we go to the next player. Alright, we're at yellow. his hand of cards. He actually has 3 purples. He's got a guard at purple, and there is at least one other guard of a opponent or neutral guard there, so he's allowed to smuggle thieves in there. So he's gonna play, and since there's only one other guard besides his color, it only costs 1 card of that color to put a thief in there. So he's gonna play 3 purples and put 3 of his thieves in there. So 1, 2, 3. So he only needs 1 more thief in there, and he'll get to steal that treasure chest. Now that's 3 thief actions. He took, 3 actions. I did them all at once, played all 3 cards at once, but it counts as 3 different thief actions since I placed 3 thieves. So he can't do any more actions to place thieves. He could still do actions to move a guard or move a neutral guard if he wanted to do that. Maybe since he's got some blue cards, maybe he wants to move one of his guards to blue. So let's see. Yeah, let's say he's gonna play a blue card to move his guard from orange here over to blue. And then he's gonna end his turn and he'll draw 3 cards. All right. So he's drawn 3 cards, and we now go to the next player, which is green. Well, green has 3 green cards, 3 green palace cards, and he's got a green guard at the green palace, and there is a neutral guard there. So since there's a guard it's an external guard is what it's called, a guard other than your own color, he's allowed to play thieves there. And since it's only 1 other guard, it only costs him 1 card. So he's going to kind of do like purple. He's going to take 3 thief actions, play 3 green cards, and he can put 3 of his thieves in there. 1, 2, 3. Now that's his 3 thief actions, so he can't do any more thief actions, but he could move a guard if he wanted to. We'll just say he's not going to do anything else right now, so he'll just draw his 3 cards into his hand. And when this deck runs out, you just reshuffle the discard pile and create a new draw deck. But anyway, now we go back to blue. Blue would like to get some more thieves in the yellow, but he didn't draw any yellow cards. He does have 3 purple cards, which is where yellow is over there trying to get that treasure chest. So I think he wants to try to make it harder for purple to get any more treasures in there. So he's going to play a purple card to move one of his guards from this white palace over to the purple. Remember, you can play the color of where you're moving the guard, your own guard from, or where you're moving the guard to. So he can move it by playing a purple card to move to the purple. Now he does have a guard up here in the orange palace, and he has an orange card, and there is 1 external guard there, so it only costs him 1 card, so he's going to play that. And then he can put one of his thieves in the courtyard of that palace. And because he's got a guard here, he can play some thieves into purple. Because there's 2 external guards there, it'll cost him 2 purple cards to put 1 thief in there, but he's got 2 purple cards, so he'll put one of his thieves in there. That's 2 thief actions for him so far. Now he's got a couple of greens and blues, which doesn't really help him to put any thieves, but he doesn't want green to get this treasure. Green's got 3 thieves in there already. He just needs 1 more to get a thief, so he doesn't want that to be too easy for him. So he's going to move a neutral guard from the blue palace to the green palace. So he's got to play where he's moving the neutral guard from and where he's moving it to. So then he's going to move the neutral guard from the blue palace to the green palace, and that'll cost more for a green to get another thief in there. So now he's down to just one card. He's going to call it done. Just draw 3 cards into his hand, and that's the end of his turn. Alright, so we come to yellow's turn. He's got 3 green cards, but he doesn't have a guard in the green palace. He's got a guard in the yellow palace. Alright, yellow does have 1 yellow card, and he's got a guard at the yellow palace, but it cost, because there's 2 external guards that are not of his color, it costs him 2 yellow cards to put a thief in there, so he can't do that. He doesn't have any purple cards, so he only needs 1 more thief in the purple palace, but he doesn't have any purple cards, so that's not going to help him. He does have some blue. He's got 2 blue cards, and he's got a guard at the at the blue palace, with only 1 external guard there, so he can play those 2 blues, and then he can put 2 of his thieves in there. Alright, so that's what he's done. And he's got 3 greens and a yellow, which doesn't help him really place a thief, but he can make it harder for green to get that last thief in there to get that treasure. So he's going to play a yellow and a green, so that allows him to move a neutral guard from yellow to green. So now that makes it even harder for green, because he's going to have to play 3 cards just to get his last thief in there. And it also makes it easier for him over here when he has yellow cards to put thieves in there. So that's going to end his turn. He's going to just draw 3 cards. And his turn is over. Now we go to green. Alright, green has 1 green card. He would like to get 1 more thief in there so he could claim that treasure, but because there's 3 external guards there, it's going to cost him 3 green cards just to get 1 guy in there, so he's not going to be able to do that. Green does have a couple of blue cards here, and he has a guard at the blue palace, and since there's only 1 external guard there, it just costs him 1 card to put a thief in there, so he's going to play both of these to put 2 of his thieves in the blue palace. Alright, so he's got 2 of his thieves in there. Now, since it looks like it's going to be easier for him to get thieves into the blue than over here in the green where there's so many guards, he's going to play a green card to move his guard from the green palace. And remember, you can take a thief with you when you do that as one of the actions. So he's going to move his green. He's going to take his guard and move him from the green to the blue palace and bring a thief with him. So now he's got 3 thieves in the blue palace. That's his 3 thief actions now, so he can't do anything more with thieves. He could take other actions to move guards around if he wanted. But I think that's all he's going to do right now, so he'll just draw his 3 cards. Alright, we'll do 1 more round. We're back at blue's turn. Now, actually, he got pretty lucky last turn and drew 3 orange cards. Remember, he's trying to get thieves in the orange palace, and since there's only one external guard there, he can take all 3 of these cards, play all 3 of them. That gives him 3 thief actions, so he can smuggle in 3 thieves. 1, 2, 3. That gives him 4 in there now, so that allows him to take this treasure chest. When you take it, you flip it over and put it on your board. Now he's got 1 of the 5 he needs. When you do that, you take all your thieves that you used to to steal that treasure and just put them back on your player board. And since he took 3 thief actions, he couldn't do any more 3 thief actions, and he's only got 1 other card, which is a green, which is not going to really do him any good unless he wanted to move his guard or something, but I think that's all he's going to do. He'll just draw his 3 cards into his hand, and that'll end his turn. And of course, now to steal the next treasure out of the orange palace, it's going to take 5 thieves to steal that. So you can see because it's got the 5 pips, so it's a little harder now to get that one. Alright, well, we're back to yellow. He would like to get one more thief in the purple so he could get that treasure, but there's 2 external guards there, so it costs him 2 purple cards to put a thief there, and he's only got 1. He would like to get a couple more thieves into this blue palace, but he doesn't have any blue cards. Now he could play a purple card to move his yellow guard and bring a thief with him over here. But that would give him 3 in there, but that doesn't really make him any better off than he is there. You can't really do much with the white. So just so we can show, so he's going to take no action. So instead of that, he's going to draw 4 cards, and one of them can be a dancer, so that's a wild card. So now he can use that wild card as any palace color. So that's his turn. He took no actions. Instead, he drew 4 cards, one of them being the dancer. That's the only way you can get the dancer, is if you take no actions and you get to draw 4 cards. So finally, we come back to green. Alright, well, green would like to get, one more thief into this blue palace. But unfortunately, he has no blue cards. But what he can do is he can play a white card to move a guard from the white palace to any place he wants. He's going to move it over here to the green palace, and now he's got a guard there where he's got a thief, and now he's going to play a green card to move his guard from the green palace and take a thief with him. Remember, you can do that. So he's going to bring it over here to the blue palace, put his guard there, and now he's got 4 guards in there, or 4 thieves in there. So those go back to his player play, and he gets the treasure chest and puts it on his board. And then, he could finish playing what else he's going to do and draw cards. But anyway, I think it gives you a good idea of how the game plays. I think it's a pretty fun game. Like I said, the first time I played it was at BGG Con in 2013, and I liked it and eventually was able to pick up a copy in 2018. And then I'd only played it one time, played it with my wife and daughter one time right after I got it, and really hadn't pulled it out again for whatever reason until yesterday. I pulled it out, played a solo game so I could do this rules tutorial, but I'd like to play it more. I think it's a fun game, doesn't take too long, the rules are easy, but there's a little bit of strategy to it. Like I said, the original, the one that I played at BGCon in 2013 was called Thief of Baghdad, and the components, instead of these printed cardboard pieces, they were actually like wood meeples. And I think I kind of liked those better. The rest of it, the palace tiles and the cards and all that, were pretty much the same as far as I remember. But I think I liked the meeples. I mean, even though these have pictures on them is nice, but just I kind of liked the wooden pieces better than these cardboard pieces that just lay flat. I liked the wood pieces that stood up. But anyway, that's it. I hope you enjoyed it, and thanks for watching.